What's poppin', y'all? It looks like the last remaining rappers that were making good music from the New York drill scene are or might be gone for a significantly long period of time now. Sleepy Hollow and Chef G were an act that were kind of a duo. I wouldn't say necessarily they were stuck together. They had their own solo music, but they came up together. They were kind of in the OG era of New York drill music alongside or immediately after. Actually, it was before Pop Smoke, I think. I think they were before Pop Smoke. But they kind of never got to like that level of popularity. The hit song 2055 by Sleepy Hollow peaked higher in terms of just overall streams as a hit than anything Chef G did, but they've always been running into legal issues. They've always had beef. And more recently, we're seeing the fact that they just got hit with a conspiracy case. This is a state conspiracy case out of Brooklyn, New York. It's not FBI or anything involved, but there's 140 counts here. And the interesting part about this is Chef G was already locked up. If you guys remember that clip, there was a clip going around of Chef G posted up playing GTA on like a 75-inch flat screen TV, GTA Online in jail. He was supposed to do, I think he was doing 2 years for a gun charge, but he was also speeding in a car. Chef G was moving reckless, which is crazy because he's been successful to a point where he didn't need to do any crime since at least 2018. So that's about 5 years. But he was doing that anyway. And he got sentenced in 2021. I made a video about it. And then he was set to be released within a month or two. I don't think it could have been longer than that. And then boom. Now they slap him with all these charges, and he's probably going to stay sitting in there. I don't think they're going to let him out. Does he get to bond, actually, if his current time ends? Or is he facing new charges, so he has to stay in there? I don't know exactly how that works. Let me know. So the problem also is Sleepy Hollow was also locked up, and that was more recent. And now he's getting hit with these charges as well. When I looked at the charges, Sleepy Hollow didn't have as many crazy things as... other than like beefing and fighting like gang stuff inside the jail, the correctional facility he was in. But Chef G was out here apparently moving like a Don. Like the music that he made, he made like a lot of influenced music by like Italian mob and stuff, and that seems to be the case of what he thought he was, because they were alleging that he's giving people steak dinners, 5-star dinners in New York, knighting them with jewelry, chaining day as Drake would call it, giving them cash to run drills for him while he's making music and making money, which it doesn't get much crazier than that, especially the fact that he's doing this in New York. What rapper do we know that's doing this in New York? Any other rapper we've seen are doing it in Atlanta, maybe California, stuff like, actually, I don't really know other rappers that are calling drills on other people. The last person I know that did that was 6ix9ine. Even Casanova, he just caught a RICO. He wasn't telling anybody, I believe, to commit any violent acts. There's just been so many RICOs, I can't even remember them. But yeah, this guy's trying to call on hits when he's already famous. Oh, Young Thug was another person doing that, but that was in Atlanta, so that was in the South. But he thought he could get away with it in New York. One of the funniest aspects of this is these dudes were talking in pigland thinking the police couldn't understand them. So there's a back and forth conversation they have, and they're like, yo, you think the police understand pig Latin? And they're like, yo, I don't think they understand it. Like, if we can just talk in pig Latin, they can't understand. What? If the police can see or hear what you're saying, it's going to be discovered. We got ChatGPT now. They're just going to throw it in there, be like, hey, or they've never heard of a cryptographer? Well, who am I kidding? The people that are involved in these crimes have never heard of a cryptographer. They probably stopped going to school at age 12, 13. Anyway, these guys could have just easily picked up or copied and pasted the text into ChatGPT and said, hey, what code is this in? And it's just going to analyze all of the other potential codes and spit back what they're actually talking about. And yeah, they got caught up off of this. The reason why I don't feel bad at all, even though these guys were my favorite rappers out of New York since Pop Smoke passed away. But these guys, even before Pop Smoke had really blown up or had really passed away, I like these guys. They made great music. They developed their music. They developed their sound. They weren't just stuck on drill. They were more than drill rappers. At a certain point, they just became rappers, really talented acts, but they just kept doing reckless stuff. And you can even see in an interview in 2018, Chef G is on there with Vlad, and he's talking to Vlad, and he's like, yeah, money changed me. Like, basically, he learned his lessons from being in jail. No, I think he said jail changed him. It clearly didn't change anything. Because unlike, not even Young Thug, but Young Thug, that they're building that YSL case from like 2012, when Young Thug really didn't have anything. The majority of the stuff that they're building this case on, it's from like 2020. 2019, 2020, a lot of stuff in 2021, some stuff even in 2022. So this guy was already balling and decided to not only stay in New York, but also do all this nonsense. And this also led to like 3 innocent bystanders getting harmed. So respectfully, I enjoy their music. Give them a studio in jail because I haven't gotten enough music from them for a lifetime yet. So give them a studio in jail if they're guilty. If they're found guilty, yeah, just give them the studio and let them chill out there, make some music, hopefully, that we can get. Or somebody, their record label, actually. Y'all work with them and get their AI voice, as a matter of fact. This is a perfect case for AI. I was impressed with these dudes because they were moving independent. They were Winner's Circle, and they stayed independent for a while. I think they did something with Empire, which was just distribution for a little while, and then they signed a big deal. So they were making a killing. They were making good business moves, but they decided to, I'll say Chef G more so decided to do this. And this gives me more respect for people like Polo G, who got his money and got the hell out of Chicago quickly. Now, the question is, was Polo G really getting busy like Chef G was in Chicago? I don't know. The Chicago drillologists are going to have to let me know that, because I really don't know anything about Polo G's history. I just suddenly heard him blow up, and he's saying he's a gangster or whatever. I don't know what gang he's a part of. I don't know what he's done, anything like that. But he made the case to go to LA, and he's been chilling ever since. I don't really see problems from him other than the issue that he had with police, things like that, but no bad legal activity, at least. I just see it as the NYPD are on a militant run right now. They're trying to sweep the finals and clean up every single rapper that is not acting right or not deciding to take their money and do something positive with it and just leave their old life behind. The amount of New York drill rappers that are currently locked up, either in jail or serving a prison sentence, I think it's at least 20. At least like 15. I think I saw one of them. I didn't even know Smokey Margello was locked up. I was like, yo, really? Him? And a lot of it is weapons, which kind of makes sense because if they have beef, there's a lot of beef in New York. And if you don't have a weapon, you're going to die. But really, the only answer at that point is to get out of New York, whether it be New Jersey or Connecticut or something, and then just come in and out for business. Fabio Foreign, after he got out of jail, he's been moving a lot better. So I think that's another example of someone who we can highlight as a success story that shouldn't have ended up like Chef G. Chef G, I think it was just not only recklessness, but ego. There's no other explanation to move like this. Wasn't enough for him to make money. And maybe this is just a theory. I'm not saying this is how he thinks. This isn't some psychoanalysis. But perhaps there's a feeling that if Chef G goes to LA or if Chef G goes to Miami, he's nobody. Whereas Chef G in New York, he's that guy. Like, everybody from the hood knows him. Even the people that beef with him know him, and they're like, yo, that's him. So I think that's potentially why certain rappers don't leave their city. They just don't want to feel insignificant. It's kind of like if you're rich in, let's say, Oklahoma City, right? Or let's say you're rich in Austin, Texas. If you move to, let's say you make $300,000 a year, which is not rich, but let's just say you make that much. In certain cities, you feel like the man off of that money. But if you go to Miami, if you go to LA, you feel poor. So perhaps that's the same thing with certain rappers, because Chef G wasn't an A-list or a B-list rapper. I wouldn't say he definitely wasn't E-list. I would say he was he less popular than DDG, who they're saying is an E-list rapper? Anyway, he wasn't a tier 1 rapper by any means. So perhaps he just didn't want to end up in a place where he felt like he didn't have pull or clout. And maybe that's the case with a lot of other rappers, but you got to think of your freedom first, which doesn't seem to be the case, and he seems to be enjoying himself in jail. But when you're facing stuff like this, who knows what's going to come out of it? There's going to be way too many cases to follow now with rap. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Do you think drill music is just getting swept? We're only going to have like white dudes like Lil Mabu left, the guys that are making Crayola drill? Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.